lot of hoping really coming back home, and I, you know, kind of opened up with the athletic director at Sykeston about wanting to come home, and he had known one of my coaches at Northeastern State. So that was how I made that. It's crazy, you know. I go out to Oklahoma and work for these guys, and then I actually through that make a connection with somebody at Sykeston.
somebody 15 minutes
right
from where you grew up.
And I wouldn't have known him. I wouldn't have, you know, anything. But like, I made that connection, and so, you know, Andy McGill's the guy. His name. He's still the athletic director at Sykeston. I'm sure you probably
heard a lot of good things about him. Yeah.
And but anyway, you know, I'm thinking I'm this big timer. Like I'm just gonna go to high school. I'm gonna be a defensive coordinator or head coach, and like, man, it don't work like that.
No.
You know, you still got to be able to. You got to be able to network with people, and you got to be able to, you know, really show why you. I mean, it's like in anything, you know, you got to be able to show why you deserve this job. And so, I mean, I felt like at the time that I had to like swallow my pride because I was coming to Sykeston to be like a teacher's assistant and outside linebackers coach.
Sure.
And I like, you know, I was young and stupid, and I thought like, well, you know, I'm kind of better than this. And then after like sitting down with Coach Gibbs in the summertime before the season started, I thought, man, I don't know a damn thing. Like I still have so much to learn.
Right.
And now I'm with this guy that, you know, that I just got so lucky to be put here. And now I'm with this guy, and I can learn from him. You know, there's other guys there, like I said, Andy was the defensive coordinator, Corey Atkinson, Josh Hopkins was on the defensive staff, and getting to be in the weight room with Coach Hopkins, I got to be a weightlifting teacher's aide. I mean, how often does that happen? So I got to do that, and just like learning from those guys, and it's like one, you know. You never know everything, no matter what level you're at. Like you never understand, you know, everything fully. And like you can learn from anybody.
Yeah.
And I got to learn from those guys. And you know, I remember, you know, telling Coach Gibbs that it was kind of my goal to be, my goal to be a defensive coordinator one day. And he said, you know, it takes time. It takes a lot of time and, you know, patience. And then like 2 weeks later, I was hired at Kennan.
And then our paths finally crossed.
That's where our paths crossed. And it's, once again, it's funny, man. Like I knew Pixley, you know, had gone against Pixley in jamborees and stuff before as a player. Like you knew that name and everything like that. And then it's like I interview at Kennan and I get to know him, and he, you know, calls me and says they offered me the job. And then it's like 2 weeks later, I met you, and then bam, we was off and running. You know?
Run, man, good buddies since. Let's I got to tell the story on here. It is one of the dumbest stories I've done. I mean, it's pretty dumb. Like I'm not gonna lie, but it's hilarious to me. So I'm gonna tell the story about this. So we've been buddies for a while, but it's still that summer, so we're still getting to know each other. You moved in down around the corner from where I lived, and this time in my life, my wife and I had been watching. We had been hardcore watching, like just binge watching Criminal Minds. Like we had watched so many hours of this thing. I mean, like it was freaking crazy. There's so many episodes of this. And so the night before, we were all over at Pixley's house, and we were hanging out, and you just seemed like you were in like a down mood. I don't know. I mean, you hadn't really known very many people down here yet, and we had no idea at the time that you knew anyone. And so you left early, and we were all talking about it. We were like, man, what's wrong with Rayfield tonight? He's usually like real upbeat and everything. We were all just worried about it. I was like, yeah, man, this is weird. And we didn't think nothing of it. So the next day, I had something I was supposed to run by your house, but I was supposed to go to the river, meet my sister at like an hour and 45 minutes away. We were going to go swimming or something. And so I come over to your house, and your car's there. And so I'm knocking on your door, bang, 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 bang. I'm knocking on your door, calling your phone. I mean, like, in my brain, you know, I've been watching all these episodes of Criminal Minds, you know. I'm like, oh my God, dude, this is freaking crazy. Where's Rayfield? You know, because we had no idea that you knew anybody down here. None of us did. Like, we barely knew you know, so we're calling. So finally, I called Penn, Coach Penn. I'm like, hey, dude, I think something's wrong with Rayfield. You know? He's like, Webby, you idiot. No, he's not. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It's freaking crazy. So then I call Coach Pixley. Hey, dude, I don't know, but it just feels weird, man. Car's here. Where's Rayfield at? You know, I can't be sleeping. I've been knocking on this door, calling him, you know, and so they come
you
up.
said you had been banging on windows too.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. I was worried about
Yeah.
you, you know. But earlier I was just going to drop something stupid off. So then I leave. I'm like, no. So Pixley and Penn show up, you know, because somehow I've persuaded them into believing that there's something wrong with you. You know, I'm like, there's something wrong with him. Hell, he's committed suicide. I don't know what's going on. You know, just because I watch these shows and my stinging brain connects all these dots and everything. And so Pixley and Penn show up, and then at this point I'm like, my sister's calling me. I'm already running late. You know, so I'm like, all right, guys, see ya. Y'all take care of it. So I leave, and Pixley's going, what the hell, Webby? Like, you talked me into this, and now I'm here. And then they're over at your house, and the next thing you know, like,
I rolled up.
you roll up with some friend, and you're like, hey, guys, did I miss a coach's meeting or
Yeah,
something?
they were all standing out in my driveway out there on Jones Street, man, and like, and like I had been getting calls, but I was on my way back.
Yeah.
And so I remember, like, I looked and I saw where you had called a bunch of times, but I was like, oh, I was almost to town. I was gonna call you when I got to my house, and then all of a sudden, like, Penn had called me and Pixley had called me, and when I rolled up, like, yeah, Pixley and Penn was like right there. And I was like, what? I was like, what's going on? Because I had all these missed calls, and I was like, it's no big deal. I'll just wait till I get home. And they're like, where the hell, Pixley, Pixley, and Pixley Bastion's like, where the hell you been?
Yeah.
Like he's my dad or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you, and he's like, man, wait, you had Webby worried sick about you.
Oh, yeah, I'm so stupid. It was
Yeah,
such
man,
a silly thing, man.
It was funny. Man, we had a good time that year.
Oh my God, good time, man. So I mean, some of the best times, really. And then, all right, so we made it through that year together, friends. We got to go to a really good time up in St. Louis at the coaches' clinic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good
Clinic's
time.
fun.
We learned a lot, had fun, met some people. We'll just leave that. We'll say that's about all that. And then, so then then at that point, some things change in your life, and let's maybe talk a little bit about what happened from after Kennedy, because we only got 1 year together.
Yeah,
so.
we only got 1 year. Man, it was one of the things where I was dead set on staying at Kennett, and I thought it was nothing. Leaving Kennett was not like on my list of to dos. It wasn't my priority. Like, we all had a good thing going, and as you know, talent was coming.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what I mean,
yeah.
it was on its way.
Yeah.
And the guys that we had there were talented. The guys that we had were like, you look back at some of those guys, Brenton Tidd, Limo, Elijah.
Yeah.
The guy that Elijah Lemons became on the field is just, from when we were there when he was young
Yeah.
to what he became with you, was, it's crazy.
He got a lot better.
Night
I'm
and
proud of
day.
that boy.
Oh man. And so, but like, we had, those guys, Zane Wallace, all of them. I can just keep on going. Both the Ellis boys.
Mm-hmm.
But so it was all kind of set in place. It was ready to go. And like I said, I was dead set on staying. And then then the bomb kind of dropped with Pixley, and he left to go back to Dexter.
Yeah.
Everybody, can't blame him, man. Everybody,
Can't blame him.
everybody
Yeah.
wants to go home, and that's who he is, and that's where he wanted to be. So then it was kind of one of the things where we were kind of left in limbo and didn't really know what was going to happen, and didn't know who was coming in,
Yeah.
and they, everything was kind of kept kept really close. Nobody was really talking about what the process was going to be. So there was an opportunity to go to New Madrid, and for me, it's a little bit closer to home than Kennett, and I felt like there was some good things happening in New Madrid, so I just up and left. And then it was like I had interviewed at New Madrid, and then I remember, like, I got the job, and then Coach Penn called me into the science room over there and was like, well, they just hired Joel Wyatt. And I was like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
I was like, they hired Joel Wyatt.
Right.
Coach Wyatt has this reputation around wherever he goes. He's a winner. But it all worked out in the end,
So you end up going to New Madrid, where you're obviously still calling defense. You mentioned that earlier.
Calling defense, and I was the middle school PE coach. So I was over at the middle school. New Madrid, you got the middle school and high school right there. So
two big old dome, big looking buildings. It's crazy. It's cool. It's unique.
It is. And so that's where I was at the middle school, and met my fiance there. She was the school nurse.
There you go. Did she take care of you when you were sick or something? No,
man, I tried to. Man, that's always the running joke. But I always, I found every excuse to go to the nurse's office.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing was, is that like I said, I was at the middle school,
Mm-hmm.
so we had a middle school nurse. She was the nurse at the high school. So I kept finding, excuses on my prep hour or whatever. When school was out right before practice, I'd like try to go over there to her office and be like, oh, I need, some tape.
Yeah.
Or I need, whatever I could think of. And
can you check my blood pressure?
Yeah,
she checks it every time it's elevated.
Yeah,
just I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, just anything, and but yeah, she's awesome. Chelsea Solinger's her name,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, she's awesome. And it ended up, like I said, working out, and we've got 2 girls and
Yeah.
all that. Yeah, man, just completely different from when we was at Kennett, man.
There
was some more wilder times.
There
man.
was, yeah.
I'm living the dream, man. I'm living the dad life, all that kind of stuff.
So you found somebody to tame that tiger, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't know who it was gonna be,
I didn't know it was possible, to be honest with you. But so anyway, so that goes good, and then now you're at Hayti, and let's talk a little bit about being at Hayti and what that's like, what that's been like for you.
Man, there was once again there was kind of some changes going on with New Madrid, and it was kind of it wasn't necessarily head coaching changes, but there was things that were kind of in limbo and things that were in doubt, and I just started doing what I do to know how to get a job. I started cold sending resumes to people, and I just so happened, and it was so that was 2018, and Hayti just won a state championship in dominant fashion. Class 1. I mean, it just rolled everybody that they played, and I happened to send my resume down to Dominique, and he was like, "This is crazy." I still tell this story. I told this story in a post not too long ago, but like I said, Dominique's very detail oriented, and he's going to figure out who you are and what you're about, and because he knows what he's about. You know what I mean? So like he didn't tell me that there was a job opening or anything like that. He said, "Hey, break down this film," and he sent me some. Their film was Valley, and he sent me. I can't remember the other one right now, but he sent me like 3 films to break down with nothing like from Huddle or anything like that. He wanted to know exactly what I had to say about the film and what I saw and things that needed to be worked on. And that's what I remember him saying that. He said you need to find where we're weak at and what we need to work on coming into 2019. And like I said, this was a state championship team. I mean, this is a team that allowed 80 points for 15 games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, so I just go through it, and I give my honest analysis, and I send it back to him. He said, all right. He said that's all spot on. So he said, when can you come down and do an interview? And it's like, so I had never had that before. Usually it's like you go through the interview process and they kind of see who you are and everything. Like his was, he wanted to know how you broke things down. Like and that was like your test to getting an interview. And I remember going down and sitting down with him and sitting down with Coach Pickering and him. Coach Gerald Pickering is from Portersville, kind of a Portersville legend, and he was the defensive coordinator down there at Hayti, but he was being promoted to principal. So he was there, and he said, man, I'll never forget it. He said, no matter what you did before, where you went before, like this is where you make your own legacy. Like this is where you can put yourself into a different category as far as amongst coaches. He said because if you win at Hayti, people take notice.
Sure.
And it got him to stay there and be a principal too. So I just remember sitting down with those guys, Casey Gilmer, Coach Pick, Coach D-Rob, and not really knowing if I had the job then, but just them telling me, different things. And about a week later, D-Rob called me and said, hey, you need to come down and do an interview. And I was like, I thought I had done the interview.
Yeah.
And so then he's like, you need to come down and do an interview. And it just so happened to work out because, coming down to do the interview was more formal with Coach Pickering and the superintendent, which is Coach Jackie Johnson, who was one of my high school coaches.
That's cool.
So
kind of full circle.
So it all kind of came around, and I sat down with them, and here we are.
That's cool. All right, man, I got 2 questions left for you. First question's kind of a silly one. I've asked everybody else so far. I'm just kind of curious. If you could have any superpower, what would your superpower be?
If I could have any superpower, what would my superpower be? I would say, obviously, I'd want to be able to cure anybody's ailments. That would be a superpower.
That'd be cool.
But in all honesty, if we're talking just generic superpowers, I'd want to be fast because I've never been fast.
Hey, I felt that.
I've been strong a little bit, and obviously not like Hulk strong, but I've been strong. But I've never been fast, so I'd want to see what that's like.
There you go. That's cool. I understand that too. All right. So this is a hard question, I think. But all right. So we deal with kids that are going out off into the future. Right out into this crazy world that we live in. In hopes some of these kids may watch the podcast, maybe some of the older ones. And we need to get one piece of advice. We're going to limit it to just one. You've got one thing, like let's say a kid, they're fixing to leave, but you're only allowed to tell them one thing about the world that you could, one piece of advice to help that helped you make it, or something you think that can help this kid or whoever in the world today.
It's not ever going to be easy. Like there's nothing like you can do what you love, and it's not ever going to be easy. Understand that everything that you're going to do is a process, and just attack.
Yeah.
That's we've said it. I've said it since I was at Kennett. I still say it to this day to my defensive guy. Everything that you do is about attacking. And so it's not just attacking the ball carrier. It's attacking life. Like there's going to be things that don't go your way. So attack it.
That's a good piece of advice. Go get it.
Yeah.
You don't wait. Don't let it come to you.
You gotta have some go get after it in you. You know what I mean? Like if you sitting around and wait, somebody else is already going and getting after it.
That's right. Coach, it has been a wonderful time getting to talk to you again. Love seeing you. I'm sure there's going to be many more great things to come from Hayti football and Hayti Jag. I'm so glad you're in our Jag family. I think it is it's wonderful. You're a wonderful person to have there, and I know Jag's changed my life and your life. And man, it's been great. I'm sure hopefully at some point maybe I'll get you back on the podcast and we can talk some more. And who knows, maybe even tell a few war stories or whatever, or maybe say some football stories. Who knows,
Absolutely, man. It's been a good time.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.